Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello friends, how's the fast? Okay, we hope that we are always eager to carry out activities when though we are fasting. Okay, we are from the second group. We'll present a formalist analysis in the reading an one-eyed horse poem. But before that, I will introduce the members of this group. They are my friend, namely Lia Oktania, Felani Rizkiana, Ahmad Imron, Ilvidiana, Muhammad Zuhrianto, and Dimas Mahesi Reswara. Okay, let's begin the presentation. Check it out.
Formalism is named for a wide variety of critical approach that focus on the formal qualities of the poem itself. Formalism tends to exclude detailed consideration of the author's life, historical context, and the poet's state of mind when the poem under discussion was written. In other words, it can be said that formalist criticism regards literature as a unique form of human knowledge that needs to be examined on its own terms. That is the natural and sensible starting point for work in literary scholarship is the interpretation and analysis of the works of literature themselves. To a formalist, a poem or story is not primarily a social, historical, or biographical document. It is literary work that can be understood only by reference to its intrinsic literary features, those elements found in the text itself. To analyze a poem or story, therefore, the formalist critic focuses on the words of the text rather than facts about the author's life or the historical milieu in which it was written. The critic will pay special attention to the formal features of the text, such as the style, structure, imagery, tone, and genre. These features, however, are usually not examined in isolation because formalist critics believe that what gives a literary text its special status as art is whole. All of its elements work together to create the reader's total experience. A key method that formalists use to explore the intense relationship within a poem is close reading, a careful step-by-step analysis and explication of text. The purpose of close reading is to understand how various elements in a literary text work together to shape its effects on the readers.
Hello, I am Lia Oktania, and now I'm going to discuss about the theme of poetry reading a one-eyed horse. The theme of poetry reading a one-eyed horse is nature and animals. As with human friendship, the relationship that exists between human and animal can frequently contain secrets. The hidden mystery between human and animal are irreconcilably open because humans tend to talk about the inborn discrepancies of their pets with others in front of them. In the poem Reading in One-Eyed Horse by Henry Taylor, the narrator illustrates the good eyes and horse. In the poem, horse has one eye because other eye is blind. Horse blind in one eye from birth or soon after rarely have any problem adjusting. An older horse who becomes blind especially from disease could have visual problem in a good eye. In this case, the horse may seem to be having trouble adjusting and may panic in the strange situation because of his eye. He got a darkness to see problem situation in the front of him.
Okay, the next topic is about imagery. Imagery is one of poetic tools used by poets to strengthen the image of the reader's thoughts and feelings. This tool is closely related to the poet's sensory experience and the objects mentioned or explained in the poem. In this poem, the representation of imagery and riding on one-eyed horse, such as the stanza whose sounds you will have to try to explain. Don't forget to turn his head and let what comes in, and hold his good eyes right. Those examples above are lyrics that contain visual and auditory imagery.
Okay, my name is Dimas Mesiriswara. So in here I will give you a little bit explanation about figurative language. Figurative language refers to the use of words in a way that deviates from the conventional order and meaning in order to convey a complicated meaning, clever writing, clarity, or evocative comparison. In short, figurative language uses ordinary sentence to make the poem or the literary work more beautiful and then try to refer something but without directly stating it. The example from the poem is in the first stanza. On the first line until the fourth line, one set of his word is always missing until but nothing on his plan side ever happens. This is the example of figurative language, which is hyperbole, because this first stanza actually means about the horse which can use the one side of the horse's eye because it was blind. One set of his word is always missing and but nothing. Missing and nothing is representation of something can see or something can do because the one set of the horse's eyes is blind, so he can see anything or the horses can doing more perfectly because the horse is blind in one side. And then another example is in the second stanza in the fourth line, your legs will tell him not to be afraid. This is a kind of personification. Personification itself means if non-human stuff doing human stuff like see, speak, running, hear, or anything. Legs in here actually cannot speak, but in this poem the legs tell the human not to be afraid. So this is kind of personification. And then another example is in the third and fourth stanza, which is it's still the same with the first stanza, hyperbole, and the meaning is still similar. If you learn never to lie, do not forget until toward them from the side that you can see. Actually, the simple meaning is if the horse need the help to drink something, and then in the last end, and hold is got a strike until and she safely struck the fields. And the simple meaning is because the one set of eye is blind, the horse or the old horse will be feel he entered to the darkness because the horse is blind. Just simply like that. So I just found two kind of figurative language. So figurative language in short will make the literary work more beautiful. Thank you. Next to my friend.
Alliteration is an initial repetition of consonant sound from a series of words in a sentence. Alliteration can also be called a figure of speech or figurative language. There are two things you need to do to find out if a sentence contains alliteration. First, We need to remember that alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds and not the repetition of letters. Therefore, a word does not have to start with the same letter to be alliterative. For example, with the word Yale University, the letter U in university products the sound U, which begin with the letter. This word can be said to have alliteration in it. Alliteration or repetition of things sound does not always form a complete sentence. Sound repetition can be used in the form of a brand name or tagline.
Hello everyone, you have reached the end of the presentation, and now you will see the conclusion of the presentation. I will recap what have been said, what have been explained by the previous presenters. So formalism is a kind of literary criticism that only focuses on a literature's intrinsic elements. So it excluded the historical background, the author's background, or maybe the political effects or the social effects of the literature. It only focuses on its intrinsic elements. And we have analyzed 4 intrinsic elements that is contained in Henry Taylor's poem entitled Riding a One-Eyed Horse. The first element is the theme. It is the main idea of the poem. The poem has the idea that the relationship that exists between humans, nature, and animals can frequently contain secrets. Also, we have the imagery. The author used imagery in their literary work in order to give the reader detailed experiences through 5 senses imagery. In this poem, the author gives the reader visual and auditory imagery. Then we have the figurative languages. In literary work, figurative languages have a big role in building up the beauty of the literary work. In this poem, Taylor used hyperbole. The last one is the alliteration. So alliteration is one kind of figurative languages. As we know that figurative languages have many kinds, and alliteration is one of the kind that is used in this poem. So that's all our presentation of formalism analysis of Henry Taylor's Riding a One-Eyed Horse poem. We hope that you guys can enjoy and understand our presentations. We also hope that this presentation will be beneficial for you guys in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.